The ancestors smile upon us, brethren. The deeps are here. It is time to play tall and be proud. So yes, folks, welcome in. This is Battlesy. We're going to be talking about the deeps mechanic for the dwarves. As you can see, we have a brand new introduction of this mechanic. Effectively, all you need to do is build the gate building, in which I can quickly show you costs a resource, which is the High King Decree, which is a new resource coming to the dwarves. How you obtain the High King Decrees is at the very beginning, you'll have access to one or two. Normally for Thorgrim, he has two because he's the High King. Makes sense. And for everybody else, I believe they start with one, which means you can make one of these specific deeps. And how you obtain more is simply by upgrading it. So you want to upgrade the entrance hall, as you can see here. Once you go from the ruined entrance hall to the entrance hall, you get another one. You get another High King Decree, which means you can make another one. And on top of this one, once you upgrade it to the Grand Entrance Hall, you get another High King Decree. And as you can see, as part of upgrading them in tiers, you can see when it starts at tier 1, you only have these slots available. When you go to tier 2, it unlocks these slots. When you go to tier 3, it then unlocks these slots. So you have to have tier 3 for all 6. But one of the cool things that is unique to the specific mechanic is depending on where it is built, they can be unique. So you can see Zanagrund has unique specific bonuses. As you can see, Chaos Undivided Corruption -3, all provinces, construction cost plus minus 10% for all buildings, faction wide, and then +1 control faction wide. So if you hover over the actual thing in itself, we can see that we have a unique building within Skavenblight, within Zanagrund, and Kadak 8 Peaks. So we'll jump over to Skavenblight real quick, and you can see over here, this has given us Growth All Province, Skaven Corruption -3, and Control once again. But as you can tell, when it comes to the unique elements of the Skavenblight, Kadak 8 Peaks, and Zanagrund, it unlocks all of the slots instantly, and obviously we have 2 more slots. So let's jump into what the actual slots do, just so you have an understanding of what that actually is. So you can see there are a variety of things. So with the Unstable Magma caverns, you can see 2 High King Decrees are required for it. To begin with, it is significantly large reductions, but you need a Master Engineer, which is really cool, to make sure that it doesn't go to absolute buggery. And then as you can see, you gain significantly large bonuses, because it increases the rarity of items gained from battles, magic item drop chance increases, character experience, recruit ranks, and recruit gain per turn. But equally, you then start getting Chaos Corruption because you're digging very, very deep into the ground, and also minus control. Next up, we have buildings that provide Oath Golds, and there's 2 ways you can go. You can either go on the right-hand side to get the Oath Gold, or you can then start going into this. And this is where you can start building tall, which we discussed to begin with. The settlement income plus turn count, but also settlement income minus 5% per settlement owned. So that means if you want to build very, very tall, as the turns go on, you will make more and more money. And obviously, the less settlements you have, the more money you'll make as part of this. But equally, you can go and upgrade it further. But that's one way of tackling it. Another way of tackling it is just converting and making monies. You, I believe, gain more money as part of having more income. So once again, funneling into the elements of, building tall is great. And then another one is your ability to convert Oath Gold into gold. As you can see here, when we have 100 Oath Gold, we will consume a relatively large amount of Oath Gold, but we can equally print that into monies, which is fantastic. Or you can go the other route and go into Oath Gold instead, which is another way of doing it. So either you build Oath Gold or you don't. But by the time you start getting to the late stage of the game, you'll have a lot of Oath Gold per turn just naturally ticking in. And you can see here that we have the drinking halls. So we've got on the control, and obviously it provides a significant amount more when it comes to the resources available when you have specific technology done. Next up, we've got under deep trade routes. for some trade. So a lot more money just means that Skaven, Greenskins, and Chaos Dwarves don't like you, but in fairness, we don't like them, so that's not a problem. And then you have the Under Deep Mine, which means you can get Call the Miners, which is a great tool, especially for artillery pieces when it comes to being sieged, alongside a lot of resources, oath gold, and a bit of money, which means you'll make a decent chunk of change from all the trading here. And then next up, you've got the strategy elements of it. So we can make ourselves immune to siege attrition, which is pretty damn interesting, but obviously it completely guts growth, which, I mean, in most of your province, you'll probably be able to get over the threshold of 100 growth, but it still will be pretty detrimental. But you can see even further, when the owner has 5 or fewer settlements, you get even more ability to defend yourself. Then the next up one is to the last dowie. The settlement will be raised upon capturing if the enemy gets it. And obviously, it gets 10 leadership. I believe you can build both of these. So if you so choose to build both, you are able to do so, and you can provide yourself significantly solid units within the garrison. But keep in mind, obviously, you're capped to 20 in the garrison. So yeah, don't go too hard into it, and make sure that you've got the higher priority units that are there instead. And so what we'll do now, after we've given a little bit of an overview there, we've gone through, and as you can see, the actual building in itself, you can upgrade it for some cost reductions of the Great Gate buildings, and you obviously get some hammers as well. It isn't that expensive. I believe the upgrade is only like 80 or so oath gold, so I wouldn't worry too much about getting this upgraded in a relatively quick succession. And then typically speaking, what you want to do is, on all your settlements, is just make sure you're printing out oath gold, because you can convert that into gold, which is fantastic. And then what we'll do is showcase Catacate Peaks. I just need to quickly build it. As we can see, this has now been upgraded to tier 3. We've been given the High King Decree, and we have the more slots. So what we'll do with that one is we'll go ahead and create the building, because we need 2 population surplus, and it's quite a lot of money and a High King Decree. So we'll go ahead and craft that one, and then what we'll do is end the turn, and we'll see the bonuses. And then just to show it off for Catacate Peaks, this gives you control once again, gives you 10% character experience when built inside of Catacate Peaks. And then we have the ability to move our capital to Catacate Peaks as well, which is very cool. And also we've got diplomacy rations plus 10 with the Dwarfs.
A throne to the 8th peaks.
So yeah, you can move your capital. So this is the dilemma that we were mentioning. So let's go ahead and move the throne. And we can see a wine to dine for. Ooh, while passing through your lands, your forces are approached by a wine merchant, and we've been given a jug of dream wine. Whoa, hold on a second. I guess that's just like the random event. I don't think that's anything to do with the fact that my capital's just moved. Very, very cool. Yeah, so you get random really cool events as well. I love that. It's equally just giving more life to the campaign by giving random things like this. I'm a big, big fan of that. And yeah, I like the fact that you can move your capital if you so choose to. Now at the very end of the video, I wanted to include recommendations. So, in this one, we can see that it'll take us 10 turns to get access into creating the Great Gate. The recommendation I have is just to upgrade the settlement, because you can start building growth, which in turn will grant you access to it faster. So instead of waiting 10 turns, you can roughly obtain it turn 6 to turn 7, which is way more effective to do it like that way. And what we'll do is we'll just take this province. Equally for every other dwarf, the same strategy will apply. Make sure to grab what you can and ensure that you're upgrading your settlements where appropriate, because otherwise it'll take a significantly long time to obtain those 2 population surplus, just because of the fact that dwarves have garbage replenishment. And once you get the deeps in place, make sure to build whatever's relative to your campaign. Majority of the time, it will be money that makes sense, but don't force yourself to funnel completely into the debts. It is really, 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 really good, but it is very expensive, right? 9,000, and obviously we've got the High King Decree. But one of the recommendations I have, so you may find yourselves in this exact situation. You can go to tier 3, or you can put the deeps in there. And there's a lot of things that you've got to remember and think about it might not make sense to build the deep straight away for you if you're desperately in need of higher tier inventory to protect yourselves against everything. Consider the deeps more of a late game insurance, whereas your settlements upgrade can kind of help you within the early to mid game. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and build the Great Gate, and we can see exactly what the implications are as part of doing this action, and we can ensure that as long as we're pumping out growth where possible, the tier 2 upgrade, the tier 3 upgrade won't be too far away anyway. So let's go ahead and get that built. And now, as we discussed at the very beginning of the video, we have block tunnels because we're only at tier 1. So let's go ahead and upgrade that one. And you've got to remember that there are a variance of things in which makes the most sense. I think the under deep mine is a really great way of securing early game money as well. As we can see, the 10 gemstones, 10 iron, and 10 marble are going to be a reasonably good cost. As you can see, that marble's 10, 18, and 10 a pop. So yeah, we're going to be making another 400 or so from that trade agreement, just from that building alone. So that definitely will add up as time goes on. And yeah, this is one of those things where if you're planning on building tall, instantly get the deeps in there because you want to start upgrading and getting more slots in there. If you're not really planning to build super tall, I definitely think it's still worth it, as you can massively make a ton of money from trade tariffs because you can get 50% when it comes to increase of trade. So you can become an absolute trade powerhouse if you try and go down that route, because I'm going to show you very quickly how much we're going to make from it. And the reason why it's pretty effective getting the deeps early on is because you can see I'm already making 1.4k, well basically 1.5k from trading, and I still have other people I can trade with. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's go throw that one out there, no worries. And let's see how much we're making. We're making 1.8k from trading, and it's turn 14. The dwarves are a powerhouse when it comes to trading, and we haven't even upgraded to tier 3, nor do we have any of the other things that can create us trade, such as the kegs. So yeah, massively recommend early game deeps into becoming a trading powerhouse. But like I said, if you'd rather go on the warfare, by all means do so. Thank you so much for watching. As always, have a wonderful day. Make sure to check out my other content on the screen now.